Welcome to Urachnos podcast. I am Elena Feo and I'm joined here today by Peter Spanoge, the coordinator of Urachnos. Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon, Elena.
So let's start. Can you tell me more about Urachnos and its first year of life?
Urachnos is just a great project. Urachnos is a so-called thematic network. A thematic network is a project that is funded by the European Commission, and it is, of course, a project that we are working to go in the direction to sustainable farming. And thematic networks, they want to provide tools for farmers and for foresters and for advisors in a way that they can improve their activities and their knowledge. And thematic network, of course, yes, Urachnos is a little bit special one because it's not providing information for the farmer itself, but it's looking at how other thematic networks are doing the job. And it will learn from other thematic networks how all thematic networks can improve their activities. So we are looking at best practices. Best practices, how can you make data? And the data we are looking at is YouTube movies, is articles, is fact sheets, is information made available by research projects and that are of importance for end users, farmers, foresters, advisors. But we also think about how can we store it in a central platform. And we are now building about a platform. How can you look at that platform? It's it's like the Wikipedia for the farmer, or you can talk about, instead of Facebook, you can talk about Farmbook. So we want to store all those information, movies and so on in a central depository that we call it. Best practices also means that you want to communicate and disseminate in a good way. So it means that, okay, what can we learn from the other thematic networks? What are the good examples? How can we put it in front so that everybody can follow it? And then the fourth point that we are looking, this kind of projects we call multi-actor projects. A multi-actor project means that you need to have different type of stakeholders or actors on board, and then you can say, okay, what is a different actor? It means that you want to have scientists, you want to have policy makers, you want to have farmers, you want to have advisors, you want to have different types of people working together in one project.
So Urachnos is a 2 years project, and so in January you went through the midterm review. How was it organized, and can you tell me more about how you wrote the midterm report?
The midterm report in our situation came very fast because we have a 2-year project, and I must say in November, when I was contacted by the project officer, I was really scared about it because we just started the project. After a couple of months, everything was running, and at that time that everything was going in the right direction. At that time, I already came to the point that, oh, now I have to do the reporting, that we are doing a good job. So it means that I have to think how should it be done, because it's the first time that I'm the coordinating a project like this one, and it means that you also have to learn. So the question was, how should I do it? And of course, if you're in a consortium, then you think that you can count on all partners, and then you send them a message, and then you say, please help me. And then, of course, you get a lot of information and a couple of examples. And of course, then you have to start thinking, okay, what is now the best example? How should it be done? And at a certain point, you get advice just ask the work package leaders. It's their responsibility. They will provide you with the right text. So that's also the way I did myself. And yes, I contacted the work package leader. I said, okay, please send back your report by the first week of December. Then the first week of December, I received some information, not all. Then I asked again, okay, we have to submit by January, so I need that information very carefully. It turned out that I received a lot of different types of formats of information, and then in January I had to start to think, how can I harmonize that now in a final document? How it ended up that, okay, it was late at night, and I always say, okay, there is a lot of time, so you can work day and night. So this means that it was also the same for myself. The 15th of January, I had to finish that because we had the midterm physical meeting at the end of January. So they needed that document 2 weeks before. And I must say that the 16th of January was a very well day because I could sleep at that time.
And how this evaluation went? How was the evaluation itself?
I must say that I don't know if it was a good job because it was one of the most busiest week of the year because the end of January, like I just said, there were two meetings. We had a joint meeting with another consortium and another project at the same place. The good point was that I decided to go and to organize that meeting in my hometown, and that is namely Bruges in Belgium. And I had to look around for hotels and I had to decide. So I chose something that I felt personally very comfortable. And it was also the first time because I'm working in Ghent, and that's another city that I said I know will work from home. And that was very nice because in that way I could organize things better. But okay, at the end of the month in January, we had that meeting. And that meeting was a joint meeting, also a little bit special compared to what maybe is normally the case. It means that we also have in our project a strategic innovation board. So next to the reviewers of the European Commission that do the midterm review, we had the idea to have joint efforts, and we combined the advisory board, so together with that review of the midterm. So it means that we were sitting there and we had two type of people. First of all, the people of the Strategic Innovation Board, people from Copa Gojeka, the young farmers, Sija, Godan, a worldwide renowned organization, also collecting data for farmers' advice. Then we had UFRAS and FAO. And the big difference between the reviewers and them is that they give us good advice, and that is a little bit in contrast with the critical session we had the day after during the question and answers. So the Thursday afternoon of that week, we had the organization of the presentation of the work so far done. And the Friday, then we had the questions and answers together in private with the project officer.
And so, yes, we are all learning in this project, and of course, mistakes are part of the learning process. What will you do better if you could go back?
I think the preparation of the midterm report should be done in a better way. And then I can already say that the expectation of each project partner is to have a fill-in document. So it means that they want the coordinator to provide the format and needed information in a very clear way so that they can easily do their job and they easily know what to do. It's of course a problem if you as a coordinator is not really aware about how you have to do it, because in my case I got a lot of different examples, and then I had to make the best of the choose something. I will do it. I will follow that from that one, and I will follow that part of that other partner. So it means that at the end I had a mix of different good examples, and maybe that mix was not the best one, but okay. What I would do better and means that, okay, point number one, provide a fill-in document. Point number two is that I'm thinking, okay, restrict yourself. I will restrict myself to the template of the European Commission. It has to be short or not too much. For instance, in our system, I was using some information from the description of work. So in that template of the midterm review, you don't need to repeat things. So the people, the reviewers, they know your project. You don't need to give an introduction. That's what I learned. So you don't need to repeat things. They are aware of it. So it means that you just have to give, and then the progress of work. And that's the third point of attention. It means that I need to provide very clearly what I did, what we did with the project, and that progress of work has to be very related to the objectives. So it means that the progress of work and the objectives have to be put in focus and have to be very well clarified. So this was what I learned of writing the report and what I learned about the midterm review itself. So first of all, the consortium is built up with experts. You have people that are able to present very well and you can trust them. So it doesn't mean sometimes you can say, should you organize the pre-meeting or not? In our situation, this went very well. We had the template of the format of the presentations, and that was really helpful. So to harmonize the presentation, that part went very well because the Strategic Innovation Board was very pleased about the work we did over the last year. The second point is also, okay, sometimes people say, okay, I'm really afraid of that question and answer session. I just can say, you are the expert, so you know what you did during last year in your project. So in that situation, the people, the reviewers, they will ask you some questions to help you to improve the situation, improve the project. So in our situation, I was not really that afraid of that question and answer session because I was convinced and I know that the people were able, and they also did in our situation, to answer the questions appropriate. But the point that I think was really important is how to write the midterm review in the right way. And this is still a learning process, but I hope that we can improve it by the end of the year, because then we have to write the final document. And that's, of course, again, the same exercise. As I'm talking to all of you, it means that I can wish you also good luck with this process. And if you want information, don't be afraid. We can share our knowledge. So be welcome to do. We are open for that. Bye.
Thank you, Peter, for this clear explanation of what was for you the midterm review. And I wish you a lot of luck with Urachnos. And thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
The Urachnos project has received funding from the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme under Grant Agreement number 817863.
Royalty-free music from Ben Sound.